Hello, and welcome to part 2 of this video series, Getting Started on Maps. Last time I showed you the reference models that I use, as well as how I get the scale right of the reference map. I did notice last time that the reference map was a little bit too small, so I made it a bit bigger. The main reason I noticed was because the staircase looked like it was a bit too narrow for the reference model. I think the author of the 2D map, he made the doors look a bit bigger to put some emphasis on them for his map, which is understandable. But just so you know, that's why my door looks a little bit smaller. Okay. I thought for this video, we're going to trace out the outer wall, as well as part of the inner wall. And then I'll show you how I make cutouts using booleans. Alright, so for the outer wall, I'm going to pull in a plane, and I'm going to rotate it like that, pull it up, and now if I press V to drop it down, it's going to land flat like this on the ground, which is not what we want. So let's go back one step and press Ctrl A and apply the rotation. Now when we drop it down, it's going to look good. Okay. Top-down view, align it here to the reference, and then press Tab to go into edit mode. And when I press 1, 2, and 3 on my keyboard, I switch between the different edit modes. You can see up here in the top left corner which edit mode I'm in. I'm not sure if the 1, 2, 3 thing is default settings, but I think it is. But yeah, make sure you're in edge select, press G to move these verts, and then middle mouse click to lock on to this axis, and just move this over into that corner. Okay. E to extrude, middle mouse to lock on, and click. Okay. Right, so now we want to give the wall some thickness to match the reference. So go into the modifiers of the wall and then add a solidify modifier. Increase the thickness until it looks about the same. We're going to top-down view, and we can see here that the ends of the wall look thicker than the corner. So we need to check this box, even thickness. That will sort out that issue. Okay, go back into edit mode, edge select, click that edge. Let's go into top-down view and use G to move, middle mouse to lock on, and click. And then for every corner, I'm just gonna E to extrude, middle mouse to lock, and then click. And then just keep doing that, E to extrude, middle mouse, and click. All the way around this outer wall. And whenever you reach a hole in the wall like this, just press E to extrude across the hole, then extrude again. Let's change the viewport rotation and go into face select, select that face and remove it. That way you're left with that hole there. Okay, back into edge select, extrude, and extrude again. And now for the corner here, you want the two corners to be aligned, right? You could just try and get it as close as possible, but even if you try, sometimes it's going to be a little bit off, and it's going to make the map look worse in the end. So let's go back, go up here into the snapping options, make sure it's set to vertex, closest, have align rotation to target turned off, same with backface culling, and have move turned on, okay? And do not click the magnet up here to turn this mode on, just leave it off, okay? Press E to extrude, middle mouse, and then if you hold Control, it turns on the snapping mode temporarily. So as you can see here, choose to snap on to that vertex there, click, and then just keep going. Now these two corners are perfectly aligned. Keep going here. E middle mouse, click, E middle mouse, and click. Same thing here, hold Control while hovering over the vertex you want to align to. Just keep going. Okay, and now in the end here, you want to do the same thing. G to move the vertex here, middle mouse to snap it onto that axis there. Hold Control so that it aligns the two walls. Then we select both of these edges and press F to fill that gap. Okay, so that's the outer wall done. You might also want to Control A and apply the scale of this. Sometimes if you don't, it might make some walls look a bit weird, but yeah, that's it for the outer wall. All right, before we get started on the inner walls, we want to move the origin of the outer wall. The reason for that is because we probably want to scale this wall later on, change the height of it. So if we change this right now, see here up to 5-6 meters, you see that it's also scaling below the reference map, and we don't want that. So let's go back, go into edit mode, be in, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, I guess, either vertex select or edge select is fine. Let's click this edge down here, Shift S, and cursor to selected. Okay. Press tab to go back into object mode, and then we go up here to object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, so that the origin is just somewhere at the bottom of the wall. Now if we increase the height of the wall, it only goes upwards rather than go down through the reference map. We're going to set it to 2.3 meters in our case. Okay. Let's get started on making the inner wall. And we're going to do that the same way pretty much. Shift A, mesh plane. Then we scale this till it fits the reference, like that. Then G to move, middle mouse to snap onto this axis, and then hold Control to snap it onto this vertex here, making that plane flush up against the wall. Okay. Top-down view, go into edit mode with tab. Then make sure you're in face select, select that square there. Then I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate that part of the mesh. And the same way, use the G, middle mouse, and move this downwards until the walls cross each other here. And basically, you want to do this for every single corner where two walls meet. So here and over here. Here we're going to use the snapping again, holding Control. Change to edge select, and let's select this edge here and this edge up here. Press F to fill that gap. Same here, fill this gap here, and fill this gap. Then we're going to select this edge, E to extrude, and middle mouse to lock on to that axis and click. E to extrude, hold Control to snap. Okay. Same here and here. Okay. So now that we've done this, we can see that the wall does not match up to the corner there. So I'm just going to move that real quick. Going to change to vertex select. Select all these vertices here. Select this vertex last. G, snap on to this axis, and then hold Control to that corner. And then I'll do the same thing here. And the same thing here, just making sure that all the walls are aligned. I'm not sure if this is actually the case in the game, but I think in the end it's just going to look better, so I do that anyway. I think this wall here might be a thinner type of wall, so maybe we should leave that. Maybe we should even remove this later on, but for now we're just going to leave the way it is. Okay. Now let's add a solidify modifier to this, just like we did to the other wall, and increase the thickness, and we can see it's stretching downwards, so we need to change the offset here to 1, and then I'm going to increase this. You remember I made the other wall 2.3 meters high. This one says 10 meters, but it's still lower than that wall, and that's because we need to apply the scale. So Control A, apply the scale, and now you can see it's accurately showing the height of almost 10 meters. So let's just reduce this to 2.3 to match the other wall. And that is part of the inner wall done. Now we just need to make some boolean cutouts. All right, so let's make the boolean cutouts for this inner wall here. And the cutout in the wall is going to be the same size as this door. So we're going to use this door as the cutter. So select the door, Shift T to duplicate it. And then let's give this some thickness. I think 0.3 meters will be fine for this. And then just move the origin into the center by going up here into Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. And that's it. Press F2 to change the name. We're going to name it Door Cutout. And it's a good idea to name all of your objects just so that you know what it is by just looking at the outliner up here. But yeah, let's also move this into a new collection by pressing M, New Collection, and I'm going to name it Cutouts. You could name it whatever you like. All right. So now let's go into top-down view and move this object down here, rotate it, and just place it wherever there's a door on the reference map. And another thing is, you never want the edges of the object you're going to cut into and the cutter object to overlap. So just lift it up a little bit like that, should be fine. If you don't do that, the cutter is just going to fail in some way later on, and it could be quite annoying when you don't know exactly what's causing the issue. Right, so now click on this inner wall, add a new modifier, add a boolean, change the operand type to collection, select cutouts, and change the solver to fast. Okay, also make sure it's set to difference there. But that's it for making the hole. Now we're going to select this door cutout object, go into object properties, and then go down here to visibility and uncheck renders and all of these options here under visibility. And then under viewport display, under display as, change it to wire. Okay. Then there is another door here. So we're going to press Alt D to make a data linked object and rotate it. A data linked object means that it's the same mesh, it's just using it again. So as you can see here, if I expand this, it's using the same cube 005 object. And in the long run, Blender will use less memory when you're doing this. And also whenever, like, if you realize that, oh no, this door is a bit too big or too small, because it's data linked, when you edit one of them, all of them change, okay? So let's just Alt-D to duplicate them the same way and just place these wherever there's a door. So here, down here, and I think there's an opening over here as well, right? It's not really a door, but let's use this anyway. I think we got all the doors here now. There's an opening up there as well. Okay. And I'm not sure if this is a door actually, so we could remove that, select this one, and then instead of pressing Alt-D to make a data linked copy, I'm going to press Shift-D to make a duplicate. And that means that this object, whenever I change it, it's not going to affect any of the other objects. So I'm just going to expand that a bit, pressing Alt-Z to go into X-ray mode when I see this this view here. We could just cut all the way through like this maybe. Okay. So that's it for making the booleans. If there are any windows anywhere, I don't remember if there's any windows here, but you could just do the same thing. Shift D, and then just resize this object. Just make sure that it's still inside of this cutouts folder, right? And then obviously you might also want to rename it to something that suits that name. Suits that object, should I say. Yeah. Then we go into render view again. Yeah, so that's it for making the booleans.